Hey friends, welcome. I'm George, and today I'm going to show you how to easily make healthy and affordable treats for your pet. If you're a pet lover, you want to do what's best for your four-legged companion, why not? They bring so much joy into our lives. But will these furry companions like my amuse-bouche?
Hello, hello, hello.
Or will they give me a paws down on whelp? We'll find out how they wolf them down at the end of this video. I'm going to give you 4 different recipes that should go over well with your dog or cat. Not sure about a parrot, but one of the recipes that I'm going to give you today is vegetarian, so it wouldn't hurt to give it to a bird as well. Having the ability to make your own affordable and healthy treats easily not only is good for your wallet, it allows you to tailor the treats to your pet's preferences. You also know exactly what they're eating. I think we all know how fussy some animals can get. Pet food and snacks, when manufactured with higher standards and quality ingredients, can get pretty pricey. I could not believe some of the prices I saw online. I wouldn't pay that much for me to eat. I would love to take credit for the recipes I'm about to give you, but I can't entirely. The fundamental recipes were made available to me by my team leader at Thermomix, Alexandra. Thank you, Alexandra. What I can take credit for is uploading them to the Cook I Do app so that you can make these treats super fast on your Thermomix machine. Don't worry, they can be made without a Thermomix, and I'm going to show you how, but if you have a Thermomix, it will make the process go a lot faster. The recipes are available in the description as well as on a PDF, and the link to that PDF is on my website below. What's a Thermomix? Glad you asked. It's an all-in-one cooking machine that I have reviewed in the past. If you're interested in finding out more, a link to a series of YouTube videos showcasing all of its amazing features will be available at the end of this video. Chef Paw makes a specific all-in-one dog food making machine. And up until the release of this video, there were no dog treat recipes on the Cook I Do app. Now, there are 4, so if you have a pet and you own a Thermomix, you will save a lot of money. With or without a Thermomix, you're gonna need an oven, a baking pan, and either parchment paper or a silicone mat. Without a Thermomix, you're gonna need a scale, some kind of heat source with a pan, and a blender or food processor. Optionally, you can get silicone forms to make custom shapes or cookie cutters. I just saw an ad online, once you Google healthy dog treats, every freaking dog company on the planet targets you. And the company was making air-dried dog food with human quality ingredients. And I thought, what if I were to roll these out just thin? Maybe one of those recipes could become your pet's main source of food. Let's begin with the simplest recipe, the butter biscuits. For this recipe, you will need flour, room temperature butter, banana, corn flour, and low sodium chicken stock. In your Thermomix or standing mixer or just a regular mixing bowl, add 400 grams of flour, 100 grams of corn flour, 150 grams of room temperature butter, and 200 grams of very low or no sodium chicken broth. The Thermomix has a great built-in scale and makes this process easy. Whatever method you use, mix everything together thoroughly. To the best of my ability, I've laid out these recipes in such a way that they kind of are drier than they should be. The reason why is because flour behaves differently in every person's elevation, kitchen, the hydration value of the flour, and et cetera, et cetera. So don't be afraid to add more water to it. What you want to do is form this into a ball and put it in the refrigerator for half an hour because the butter was soft and it's going to melt. You want to make it a little colder. You have choices here. You can put the dough into forms. You can roll out the dough and cut it into biscuits, or you can shape the dough by hand into coins. The choice is yours. All right, here we have our butter biscuits, and they've been in the refrigerator for half an hour. It's kind of firm. You can use a little flour if it gets sticky. I'm gonna spray a little oil on my hands, just so it doesn't stick to my hands as it warms up, and spread this out to a rough 1/4 inch thickness. A little oil on my rolling pin. You can use flour too, but I think oil works a little bit better. Roll it out onto a Silpat, or you can use parchment paper too. This is more convenient. You want it to be consistent. You don't want it to have any thick areas, because if it does, then they're not going to cook evenly. And if these are moist, I noticed that pets don't really like them when they're moist. They like them dry and crunchy. It's actually about right. Take our little doggy biscuit cutter, and basically you're going to cut some shapes out of this. We're gonna grab our pan here. Just spray a little oil on there because I really don't want to I don't want it to be an issue. They do expand, so you may want to keep a little distance between them. Now, ultimately and eventually, you're gonna get to the point where you can't make any more shapes that you want. That doesn't mean you should just throw it out and just come up with your own. I don't really think the dog cares as much as you do. So out of this batch, the butter biscuits, I actually got 60 dog-shaped biscuits. They are about 3 or so inches long by about an inch, and pretty cost-effective. The drier they become, the better. They will last about 2 weeks in a properly sealed container. Now, if you want to know the best way to store food so that it lasts the longest, there's a video about that in the playlist available at the end of this video as well. Also, remember to never ever put the biscuits away wet or when they're hot, because they will get moldy. So you have to make sure that whatever container you put them in, they are thoroughly cooled to room temperature and thoroughly dried. If you want, you could put a little food grade moisture absorbing packet in there to ensure that there's absolutely no moisture in the packet so they don't go bad. The second recipe introduces a food processor or blender if you're not using a Thermomix. To make these banana biscuits, the recipe calls for eggs, but if you are looking to make it vegan, just substitute the 2 large eggs with about a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of a healthy oil. For this recipe, you will need flour, carrots, banana, sunflower seeds, eggs, honey, and wheat bran. Blend 140 grams of banana, 150 grams of carrot, 2 eggs, about 15 grams of honey, add 300 grams of the best all-purpose wheat flour you want to use, 50 grams of wheat bran, and 50 grams of sunflower seeds. Blend it all together. Another great thing about this process, if you want, you don't have to make the biscuits right away. You can make a batch and then put them in the refrigerator and cut them later. Here we have our banana, carrot, sunflower biscuits, and to me, these seem a little too wet. Just massage in a little bit more flour, knead in a little bit more flour, because I think it's just gonna be too sticky. Yeah, that's about right. See, it's like a dough, really good. You really don't need to worry about the shape because whatever's left after you cut out the biscuits shapes, you're gonna reform into a ball and make more out of it. The key is to make sure that there's consistency. You wanna make sure that the dough is flat and actually 1/4 inch, because if they're too thick, again, you're gonna have problems with drying them out, and dogs do not like these squishy or mushy, they like them crunchy. Now we're just gonna shape out our biscuits. Spray a little oil on my baking sheet. I'm gonna keep a little distance between the biscuits, not much. There's no baking powder or anything in there that's gonna make them rise, but they will inflate a little bit, they will grow, but not that much. The Meaty Biscuit treats require more steps, and this is where Thermomix shines, because besides blending and weighing the ingredients, it cooks the meat as well. For this recipe, you will need meat trimmings, oats, apple, carrot, olive oil, garlic clove, milk powder, banana, wheat or rye flour. If you prepare your own meat like lamb, steak, or chicken, you can save the scraps and freeze them, or you can use 450 grams of whatever meat you prefer. I'm lucky enough to own a restaurant, so I get a lot of scraps. I'm also unlucky enough to own a restaurant in that I don't have the time to give a pet the care that they need, so I don't have any pets at home. But I do have some great friends with pets that I love. Some of them are notoriously fussy about what they eat. We're gonna see at the end of this video for the first time together what their pets think of my treats. As I go through the process using the Thermomix to make these dog treats, remember that you can follow along using whatever appliances you have in your home. The recipe's calling for 450 grams of meat trimmings. You could use whatever you want. You could use pork, you could use chicken, you could use lamb. I happen to have some ground beef here and pork, so that's what I'm gonna use. Probably do 50-50 mix here, 225 grams of beef, or it's actually gonna be a little less, and then I'm gonna put some pork in there, gonna get to 450 grams. Okay, the next step calls for 500 grams of water. We're gonna cook this for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Basically, you wanna bring it to a boil. That's what you're looking for. The Thermomix kind of does it automatically. We're supposed to eliminate about 250 grams of water, drain off about half. We put about 500, so I'm just going to drain off roughly 250. I mean, clearly some of the meat released water, so there might be more in there, but I'm going to take out about 250 grams. What you want to do is eliminate kind of that scummy water that's been in there. We're going to cook it again for another 7.5 minutes. You're going to add 150 grams of oats, 75 grams of apple, 75 grams of carrots, 20 grams of milk powder, 1 clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and half a ripe banana to the meat. And you blend everything, raising the speed gradually for about 30 seconds. And then you're going to continue to cook it for another 7.5 minutes. Here, the Thermomix just switched processes from cooking to cooking and blending simultaneously. On the Thermomix, we add the flour, either wheat or rye flour, and we allow the kneading feature to form it into a clump or a ball. Okay, so this was supposed to stir it in reverse until it formed a ball. This, to me, is a little too moist. I'm probably going to wind up adding a little bit more flour. I think because it's hot and it's moist, it's a little softer than it should be when we roll it out. When this cools, I think it'll be perfect. Now, clearly you can use whatever shape cutter you have or want. It's up to you. I don't think the dog or the cat cares. I'm using the smaller one of this 3-piece set. There's a link to it. It's on Amazon. Links down below. Cook them in a preheated oven at 325 degrees or less. Your oven may vary. And last but not least, and this one will go over well with the cat's tuna biscuits. For this recipe, you're going to need tuna fish, eggs, parsley, flour, and olive oil. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a blender or a Thermomix, add 420 grams of flour, 200 grams of tuna. You can use canned tuna or fresh. You can also make this with leftover salmon or canned salmon for that matter. 2 large eggs, a handful of parsley, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Blend everything together, add the water, and blend again. 15 grams is not enough because there's just not that much water in this tuna. Normally your tuna can may have a lot more water in it when you add it to it and be a lot more moist. So this wasn't. I just added basically, I said in the recipe 15 grams of water, probably had a total of 100 grams, but that's what you're looking for, like that. With the tuna biscuits, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to just roll those out flat so that when they're cooked and dry, you break them up and then serve them kind of like a dog food or cat food rather than a biscuit or a treat. I'm going to spray a little olive oil on my Silpat here, and I'm going to roll this out. Start by pressing down on this and then roll it out with a rolling pin. Unlike the other biscuit treats, we're going to roll this out a little thinner than 1/4 of an inch. We're going to be closer to 1/8. It's about 1/8 of an inch. Again, I don't care about the shape. We're going to pop that in the oven, 350 degrees, for about 20 minutes until it's really, really dry. And you can go lower in your oven. If your oven is notoriously hot, go lower. So this is the one that I'm going to try to mimic Sunday's morning. It's like a online all-natural dog food. Still a little warm, not dried all the way, but we can cut it. Whatever you do, do not put these in storage unless they are completely dry. You'll have mold issues. Some of these are definitely not as cooked as the rest. If you find pieces that are really damp inside and you don't feel that they're going to dry, just put them on a tray, pop them back in the oven. Otherwise, you want to put them on the counter, make sure they're completely dry and cool before you put them in storage. Let's see how our judges score these treats. So this is banana, carrots, apple.
It's food or treats.
Food. I made these.
They go crazy.
Which ones do you guys want?
Like
this is butter biscuits.
They're very hesitant at first. Even when I give them a bone.
Right, this is the meat one. I'll give them a little bit. See what their reaction is.
They love meat.
Here, this. You like that? How we doing?
Aww.
They have freeze-dried raw beef. That's what they eat.
These are butter biscuits. Let's see how you guys do with these. Little bitty. How we doing with the butter biscuits? We like the butter biscuits too. We're 2 for 2 so far. This is good. What's this?
Rose's not a fan, but Rosie loves
Ooh,
that.
sorry. Here you go, Rosie.
They
Rosie.
both like salmon.
You like that? Oh, she likes the tuna. That's 3 for 3.
What did I say?
She's got the tuna in her mouth now.
You want tuna? Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Heard of guinea pigs.
Oh, here we go. And last but not least, let's go with the banana. See how you like the banana. No? Banana, carrot?
They like carrots and ginger.
Oh, we're 4 for 4. They are happy. So, buddy, you don't seem to like anything I'm giving you here. Nothing. You didn't eat any of it. And you didn't like anything at all. You won't eat any of what I have to offer you. Make me proud. No. Well, here you go. Oh, you'll just eat anything.
He will
Teo-
until he's sick.
Teo loves everything. He's going back to lick my fingers. Can we interest you in some vegetables, maybe, Bailey? Ooh.
Oh, he's protective.
He's protective.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Bailey went for it. Teo seems to really like the vegetables, okay. He's like, it's not meat, but it'll do. And how about you? Would you like some? Try that? Maybe you can try that vegetable. Maybe you're a vegetable. He likes he's a vegetable butter guy. He's chomping away at it. Look at that. That's great. Okay, so he's a vegetarian. Oh, maybe not. He just spit it out. Oh, but Ernie seems to have gone for the tuna. He's like, leave me alone. I just want to go.
Well, that's typically what he does. He'll walk away.
Yeah, the other 2 dogs I've interviewed did the same thing. Ernie, you want to try that, buddy? You take it with you? And he look, Ernie's coming back. He was just a little shy. He's like, who is this guy feeding me? I don't know who he is. Thank you. Good for you. The beautiful thing about making your own treats, especially if you have a Thermomix, is how easy and affordable it is. You also know exactly what you're feeding your pet. You can also modify these recipes to suit your pet's tastes and health needs. Pretty awesome. Play around with your oven temperature though, just a little. Remember, you want these to be dried out well without them getting too dark. And you want to store the treats in an airtight container like one of these. I had reviewed this specific container by Zwilling on a previous episode, and I didn't have the greatest results, but the fault was all mine. Zwilling saw my video and reached out to me. They sent me a clip of my video showing me that I had not sealed the container properly. I ran the test again, and they kept the bananas, which I was trying to keep as fresh as possible in the previous video, perfectly fresh. Check out that video and find out more about Thermomix by clicking here. There's lots of good stuff. Comment below. How did your pets like these treats? Or maybe you have a great recipe you want to share. Let me know. Cheers. Freaking delicious.